On the new feast of Blessed Columba Marmion, one thinks of the many egumenoi, the many fathers, pneumatikoi, spiritual leaders that have formed in the cloisters souls and brought them unto God, kept them safe and given them good nourishment. His talents were seen very quickly, and it was not that long before he was made abbot. But he has left a corpus of teaching, and still in France, that was part of our formation. The trilogy that he has written is a dense body of spiritual and monastic and even mystical teaching, and will never lose its value. If one looks around, one sees the influence that a spiritual leader can have. A house that has a strong leader remains strong. There's an old saying, actually, that a community has the abbot that it deserves. In other words, it votes for what reflects itself. I remember in school days how Dom Basil, the abbot of Ampleforth, was re-elected in 1971, nemine contradicente, with no one against it. It is unanimous. It was a big community, 120 monks, and he was given a second term of office, another 8 years. In the course of the second one, he was elected Archbishop of Westminster and then made Cardinal. But he guided the community through the council years and remained serene in those years, maintaining the best of the old, but with an element of renewal coming in. I remember at La Trappe in 1974, staying with them there in community, how the influence of Don Gérard was huge. He would give chapter every day, Sunday being the exception, and he would give good teaching for about 10 minutes every day, some of which I still recall vividly. But he opted, when I was a student, to step down after 10 years, way before the time. Apparently he was unwilling to make changes that he felt were significant and would upset the community during the time when there was pressure being put on him to make certain adjustments in accordance with what was going on in other houses of the order. When I was with them in 1974, it was very strict indeed. And what happened as a result was that they brought in somebody from another community. Irénée came from Tamier, but he died after 3 weeks, suddenly. And then they brought in another one from another community with a good monastic life, but different in style. And he brought in that style, and it didn't actually, over a long term, really work. And I saw the problem of bringing in someone from another community who hasn't grown up with the brethren. It's not quite the same. And in fact, things went in a different direction, because in community one was aware of the heritage coming from l'Abbé de Rancé way back in the 1600s. There was that awareness in the air. And one sees that growing up in a house and blending and bonding with the brethren, there's a huge family feeling there which somebody from the outside would not easily have. I saw at the same time, in the consequences that followed, how the young, very young abbot of Ceffonds, he was only 32, I met him during a session one time at La Trappe. He knew what he wanted, and his house became the most Trappist in the whole world. And they have about 90 in there. They're always doing well, very strict, very faithful. So a long period under one abbot does give stability, and solidity, a reflection of the spirit of paternity that one finds in St. Benedict, which is transmitted from the spirit of the desert, where the starlets, the Higumenos, was an important figure. One engenders souls in the Lord. Well, Blessed Columbia Marmion was doing the same at Maritsu. Some years ago, I was celebrating on the altar that he would have used for about 3 years when the community was in exile here in Ireland at Enniscorthy. The house is still there. It's a manor house, and the old chapel is still there that he was using. And the old choir stalls of wood are still there. And I was moved. I was celebrating in the old rite, the one that he would use, and it hit me that there's a continuity at the altar. I wrote these lines. Singed by rays felt during the Missa Cantata at Blessed Columba's altar. What is a place? A spot upon the globe that onward turns and pauses for no man. What is it yet to wear an ancient robe and stand upon a step that stepping can from buried time yet hear? What is a stone hewn well to hold high force? Hid workings strange. What is, I say, a place to stand alone upon a land once known, 'neath the old rays' range? 'Tis to be on a moving aeon still, unshoved by hurry's haste. 'Tis to lean on a second as it comes. 'Tis to let thrill old tingles that once passed. For here's redone a work that once worked well, and works again with ancient mastery. We thought to play